A new Ryzen 5 2600X desktop build. First step, opening these packages. I'll get right to it coming up. This is my Panasonic HCX 1000 camcorder. It's capable of 4K video and the footage looks beautiful. Unfortunately, my old Dell XPS 8300 just is not up to the task of editing 4K video, even with upgraded RAM and upgraded video card and an SSD drive. So I decided it was time to upgrade my desktop. Now I could have found a desktop with good enough specs, off the shelf, ready to go, but I wanted to pick all my own parts, so I put in an order with Newegg. So let's open up the boxes that came from Newegg and see what I got. Let's start with this big obvious box. I don't see anything else in there. This is the Cooler Master HAF 912 series case. Let's get into it. These look like mounting rails. There are slide mounts for the drives. This should help with cable management. The front of the unit has a place for USB 3, USB 2, microphone, and headphone jack. Plenty of places to put fans. This case is damaged on the top. This is bent enough that I cannot properly mount a top fan here, so this damage is more than just cosmetic. I might be able to bend it back, but I will probably put in an RMA on this case. Now let's open this box up. Got some ads. This is a set of 4 cooling fans. So here they are. Here's my processor. It's a Ryzen 5 2600X. I went a little overboard on my power supply and got a 1000 watt power supply. It is only bronze certified, but this should have more than enough power for future growth. I went with a Gigabyte X470 Aorus gaming motherboard. There's the board. Got some cabling. Got a plate for the back. All right, We got a multilingual installation guide and a book that I'm going to read before I try to put this together, and a CD with drivers and utilities, plus a logo to stick on the outside of my case. Like the name implies, this motherboard uses the AMD X470 chipset. The 4 DDR4 DIMM slots support up to 64 GB of RAM. The motherboard does have integrated graphics with an HDMI port right here, but I believe with the processor I chose, that's not going to work. This is a PCI X16 slot that runs at X16. This is where I'll put my video card. This PCI X16 only runs at X8. And this PCI slot runs at X4. And there's 2 PCI Express slots. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Here's the connectivity coming out of the motherboard. Finally, I have some G.Skill Ripjaws RAM. I've read some reviews that say this works great with a Ryzen. I've read other reviews that say that you can't get the full speed out of them. But it's F4 3600C, 32 gig set, 16 gig each, and I'll still have 2 slots open on the motherboard. This next item was on back order, so it just arrived today. I have 2 Corsair 4 Series MP510 NVMe M.2 drives, 960 gigabytes each. One of these will be my boot drive, the other will be used either as cache for a larger drive or as a dedicated drive for footage when I edit video. Let's go ahead and open the box to the AMD Ryzen 5 2600X. Okay. Installation instructions, I will be reading those. This processor does come with a cooler, pretty nice one. It's an AMD Ryzen 5 2600X with 6 cores and 12 threads that can run at 4.2 gigahertz. And a little sticker if I want to put it on the case. Let's go ahead and pull these fans out and look at them. I'm going to check, make sure these are the right size for my case, but I believe they are. Literature on the fans. I'm going to go ahead and open the box to this power supply. This power supply is completely modular, so you plug in your pigtails instead of having pigtails sticking out of it. I'm going to assume that this is all the stuff I need. This almost looks like a shaving kit. Yeah, all the cords and pigtails I need are in this mesh case here. Nice. And here's the literature for the power supply. So here's everything that arrived. You may have noticed that one thing I did not order was a video card. That's because I already have this MSI GTX 1060 This is just the box. The card itself is installed on my Dell computer. I'll be pulling it out and putting this Radeon that came with it back into the Dell. Now I would love to get started on this right now, but I have a lot of literature to read and I am going to read it before I put this thing together. So I'll have to save putting this thing together for part 2, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, keep on watching. Thank you to my patrons, and remember, stay thrifty, everyone.